Hey you guys, welcome back. Let's talk about moving on. People ask me all the time, how do I move on? I want to do it quickly. I don't want to feel anything anymore. And so I want to give you some reasons why sometimes when we move on too quickly, it doesn't really work and it ends up backfiring. So if you do any of these three things, you're really not going to actually be moving on. You're going to just kind of like use these things as like band-aids to, yes, move through your life and like move on, but emotionally you haven't. And so you don't want to like move on and not actually deal with your emotions and how you feel. You want to be able to manage everything, handle it, heal, and then move on. Now, I think a lot of people that are not necessarily unhealthy, but just like don't really want to do the work, they're going to do probably all of these three things, but let's just start with number one. Jumping into relationships way too quickly. First off, if you jump into a relationship too quickly and you haven't done any of the work on yourself to like heal or deal with your own unhealed wounds or all of that baggage from that relationship, you're going to bring it into your next one. That's just inevitable. So, and I want you to also think about this too in terms of your ex-partner. People are dealing with narcissistic relationships and you're dealing with like a discard or narcissistic supply. They moved on and like this new person that they're with, there's a lot of feelings that you have, and sometimes you create these stories in your mind like the person is treating this new person like so much differently and the relationship is so much better. And what you don't understand is people are exactly the same. They do the same things, they're just with a different person. It might look a little different, but at the end of the day, the behaviors and all of that stuff is really still the same. So unless you actually do the work, you're going to stay the same person. And that's the case for you as well. You don't want to have those unhealed wounds and that baggage from your past in your next relationship. You also don't want to be picking the same partner over and over again. So until you kind of like do the work on yourself, you're going to be attracting the same people. You're going to want the same types of relationships. The people are going to look a little different, but at the end of the day, all of the people that you attract will have some type of dysfunction. You will be attracted to red flags. You won't be able to see the red flags. You will be triggered in relationships because you have your own like unhealed stuff that you haven't really dealt with. So you don't want to go in relationships for the wrong reasons. You don't want to have like this rebound relationship. I mean, if you want like a fling and you're able to emotionally detach and you're not like looking for a relationship, that's a totally different video. But this, we're talking about not getting into a serious commitment. And this is really sometimes hard to do, especially for people that have been in relationships for a really long time and they had like a family dynamic or they had this like they had these situations that were just like comfortable and they're going through a breakup or divorce, especially one that they didn't initiate, and their whole world is changing. And it's very easy just to want to quickly replace a person just to get back to like that comfortableness that you once had. Now, number two, and this happens all the time when people move on way too quickly or they think they're moving on, but they're actually not, is they just avoid feeling altogether. And so as you're going to see, these three things really like tie into each other. So if I'm jumping into a relationship really, really quickly, doesn't mean you have to just jump into a relationship. You could just avoid feelings altogether. But if I do jump into a relationship really quickly, chances are I'm avoiding the things that I know I need to feel, or I'm not even dealing with how I actually feel. Sometimes too, depending on the type of situation and the breakup that you're going through, the divorce, you could honestly have PTSD. And now you're dealing with not even being able to really process what it is that you do feel, because you don't really even know what you feel, because maybe you're a single parent. Maybe it just happened so quickly that it's like whiplash, like you don't even know what just happened. And so that's going to take you time in order for you to be able to even understand how you feel. And the feelings that you have are going to be all over the place. And all of that is normal, but all of that takes time. It takes time to deal with kind of like your unresolved emotions. It takes time for those things to come up to the surface. One day you're angry, one day you're sad, one day you're resentful, one day you're hopeful, and you're kind of bouncing all over the place. And again, that's normal, but you have to be able to like process each of those things and not stay stuck in one of those feelings. That's healthy healing, is unfortunately going like this sometimes, and you're just on the roller coaster and you're all over the place. Like, that is what healing looks like. Healing is very messy. It's not a straight line. It often doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but you go through the storm, and then the storm just starts to fade and pass, and life slowly starts to get better and better. That's when you know you're actually starting to heal. If you're just avoiding everything, like, I don't care, it's whatever, it is what it is, and you're just like moving on, but you're not really doing any of the emotional work, then guess what? At some point, all of that is going to come up. You don't know when it's going to come up, and you don't know how it's going to come up. So the more you can try to process how you're feeling as much as you can and tap into that stuff, the quicker those emotions will like subside and just like fade. Now, the last thing that people will oftentimes do when they move on too quickly and they're not taking the time to do any of the work is working on yourself. So healing from something or from an experience or a situation, that's like one thing. You wholeheartedly working on you is a totally separate thing. So the working on you isn't just about this like relationship that's ending or this breakup that you're going through. It is about also thinking about, okay, what within my own self needs to change? What do I need to get better at? Do I need to be less codependent? Do I need to be more self-sufficient? Do I need to be more confident? Do I need to push myself out of my comfort zone? Do I need to have better self-talk? Which, I mean, let's just be honest, we can all use a little bit of that. Do I need to be more mindful of like the things that I am doing that are hindering my ability to feel good inside? This is all about self-love and cultivating this really healthy sense of self, which is a practice. And if you don't do that work, not only is it going to affect you healing from that situation, but it's also going to 100% affect your future. It's going to affect your future relationships and just your future in general, aside from being in a relationship, being someone's partner. This is about your life and you cultivating a life that you are excited about. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to feel like you need something outside of you. You're going to need the partner, or you're going to just focus solely on being in relationships and not really working on you and your own life. What you definitely don't want to do is you don't want to go through painful experiences that we're just going to have to go through in life. I mean, we're going to have to go through them. That is life. But you don't want to go through them and literally gain absolutely nothing from them and then repeat the same thing over and over again. That's just a waste. Let's not just like move on. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's like get better. Let's try to figure out like, what is this teaching me that I need to learn about me in order for me to grow? Because that's going to take you to the next level in your life, and it's going to give you the things that you're actually really wanting and striving for. You just have to do the work. And I think we all, for the most part, have been through really painful situations. And I know from personal experience that healing is definitely not something that is oftentimes easy to do. It takes a lot of practice. It takes watching the videos, reading, the blogs, and listening to the podcasts and taking the courses and doing the coaching. You have to really invest in yourself, and you have to have a good, solid ability to want to get better and want to grow and want to have more for yourself. So when you start striving for things in your life, you slowly push yourself out of your comfort zone. You don't just like jump out of the airplane, although some people do that. I ain't doing that. But it's just about like really investing and taking the time every day to feel better, to look better, to, do the work on yourself. So if I can offer you anything, I would say while you are moving on, instead of just like jumping into, I don't care, I'm going to live my best life, do the work, sit in the sadness, do the therapy, do the coaching, have yourself a cry, go for a walk. But also, and I tell all my clients this, is plan for the future. A big part of moving on is also getting those wheels in motion to like move yourself forward. So what is next for your life? What do you want for the upcoming future and long term. What do you really want to work on? Do you want to work on a business? Do you want to work on a new job? Do you want to work on your fitness? Do you want to just work on your mindset right now? What are the things that you want to really start putting your energy into instead of just always putting it in this past experience? So it's a balancing act of all of these different types of things that will start to get you to move on in healthier ways. So I hope this video has helped you. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to click subscribe down below. Click the like button if you did enjoy this video and share it with anyone who you think might benefit from it. So I'll see you guys in next week's video.